Remy, hey, congratulations for your film, The Resurrection of Charles Manson.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's weird that it's finally coming out. It's a year that we almost a year ago today we started shooting.
Oh, really? So
Yeah.
did you shoot this during the pandemic then?
Yeah, so we shot this March 2022. Yeah, March 2022, which was kind of like we thought the pandemic was kind of coming to an end, and then we got shut down for COVID in our second week. So it was definitely a struggle.
Well, I'm glad you finally got it through. So congratulations
Thank you.
on that. So, Remy, tell us what initially drew you to this project in the first place.
Yeah, so I met Josh, one of the writers and actors of the film. I actually met him at our boxing gym here in LA, and he sent me the script purely out of just kind of notes because I was in film school and I had done internship with Blumhouse, and that was kind of the direction he wanted to go with it. So I got the script. It was like 130 pages, and I loved the concept, but it was long. So we worked on it for like 6 months together, just he would send me drafts, I would give him notes, and there was a director already attached. And then December of that year, the director dropped out, and I had kind of gotten this opportunity, and I had spent so much time with the script and learned so much about Charles Manson through reading all these drafts that it just sounded like a really fun, a kooky little thriller to kind of try out as like my first feature.
I know that is terrific. And one of the things that is most notable is that there is like so many Charles Manson movies
Yeah,
out there. What do you suppose is the obsession of Charles Manson? I mean, you did the research.
yeah, it's funny because everyone asked me the same question, and I had this. I was the same thing. I was like, why do people love this guy so much? And then I started watching him because I watched all his interviews and I read a bunch of books about him, and he's just fascinating. Like you watch him speak, and he especially when he's younger and he kind of gets right into prison. He's articulate and he's kind of profound in a bad way, but he knows how to get you. And I was always saying, like, if I was 16 or 17 in that time, I might be really, enamored by him because there was something so interesting about the way he held himself. Plus, he was only like 5'2", and he somehow got an entire group of people to, follow him and eventually kill for him. But there was something really interesting about him. Also, he wanted to be an artist. He wanted to be a musician, and we have some of his music in the film, and it's not terrible. It's not bad music. It's not great music, but it's not terrible.
It, this reminds me that for anybody for mass murders or mass killings, we always need to give them a chance, and they probably would change their
Yeah,
trajectory of history, right?
all he really wanted to do was record an album, and who knows what would have happened if he really just got that chance. He was friends with the Beach Boys, which I was thought was odd. But yeah, it's one of those like, if he had just done this, what would have happened?
I know it's always funny. Charles Manson, Fidel Castro, who tried out for the
All of them,
Yankees.
yeah. I mean, even like Hitler had his whole like, you want to be an artist for a second. Different, obviously, he was, but
So, tell us about the desert setting that you guys actually did. I guess with the pandemic, I guess that makes it easier, but you guys got closed down in the second week.
yeah, I mean, we thought, okay, it'll be in the desert for the most part. There's two characters because the majority of the movie just follows this couple. So we're in the desert. We had a small crew, and the desert is an interesting character in itself because we were out in Yucca Valley, which is between Joshua Tree and Palm Springs, and there is nothing there. Like
Hmm.
it is a very small town. And it was great because we had found this house that was owned by these two musicians that, when you see it in the movie, we barely touched it. Like our production designer for most part tweaked it, but the house was as you see it, which was fascinating because you're in the middle of the desert and there's this 70s kind of bungalow just there. But the desert was interesting. You're dealing with winds, you're dealing with extreme temperatures. We thought it would be great for COVID. Turns out it wasn't.
What was there really a makeshift bowling thing in the backyard, or you guys put that?
So no, that was there. So the couple who owned the house loved to kind of go estate shopping, and there was a bowling alley in Yucca Valley that was getting shut down, and they threw out all of the lanes. So he saw all of it, and the house itself, all the floor, instead of hardwood floor, it was all bowling alley floor. So they just set up one lane in the backyard, but yeah, that bowling alley was there.
Wow,
Yeah, it
that
was
is
cool.
crazy. That is pretty cool. Talk about your two lead actors. Was it Catherine and Vince for your film?
No, Catherine Hughes and Josh Platt.
Yeah, Josh. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So Catherine, Josh, like I said, I've kind of gotten to know him over the last couple of years. Catherine and I had met. She was on a show called Kingdom, and I actually PA'd on that a couple of summers. So I got to meet her. But it was a lot of fun working with them, and it was for my experiences, being first time, just doing the majority of the movie with the two of them for like the first 2 weeks was really beneficial, I think, on my end, because I got to just focus on getting to know the two of them, working through the story, not feeling overwhelmed with, 6 different characters or 6 different actors. We got to kind of just, we became this good little trio, and it really helped me kind of work out the kinks in the beginning, because it was just, okay, it's me and Josh and it's me and Catherine, or I'm there. We're all relatively, in the same age range, so we had a great relationship. And then once we progressed and other people came in, I had already gotten comfortable in myself. So working with them was great, and they had worked together in the past, so they had good chemistry. And Josh wrote it, so he understood the character really well. And Catherine she came in last minute because we had someone drop out, but she was so kind of game and down to play and really just have fun with it. It's a kooky story, so you got to kind of. I think there's moments where, like, especially with her character, she gets a little, she doesn't want her true colors to show, but also have play the part that she's supposed to be playing.
Wow. Sounds like you
Yeah.
had a pretty good experience with your first time directing. Were there major
It was,
challenges to you?
oh my God, yeah. Oh no, there were a lot of challenges. We had a lot of, I always say, like, it sounds great and it was great, but we had so many problems. Aside from COVID, I mean, we had, the weather shut us down. I had difficulty with other people. We had a crew member quit on us like one day, but he took the key to the equipment truck and went back to LA. So we were kind of stuck with a locked equipment truck for a weekend. Um, we were shooting our climax, the end of our movie takes place at night, and there's this big fire sequence, and we're shooting it. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning, and you have to be very careful out there with fire because it's essentially just all kindle. And we're like getting there, and all of a sudden this 40-mile-hour gust of wind comes and shuts the whole thing down. And I looked at the fire safety officer. I was like, "How do I fix this?" And he goes, "You don't." He goes, "You just got to shut down for the night." I was like, "All right, I'm tired. I'm gonna go home."
Well, you got the true indie filmmaking
Oh my
experience, that's for
God, yeah. And then going into post, like, then editing it, because we got shut when we got shut down. We lost 3 days of shooting. So then it was, okay, we have to make it up. We eventually did a couple of reshoot days, but the edit process of this movie took a while, and it was a big puzzle to put it together. But by the end of it, like, I'm really proud. I think of, all things considered, with what happened and all the obstacles we faced. Like, I'm proud of what it got to be and what it is now. So hopefully people enjoy it for that.
Well, it sounds like you had a great experience. You want to do something like this again?
Yeah, I think I would love to tackle one more in the horror thriller genre, like kind of do everything that I learned, get it right, really get all that out of the way, and then move on to something else. But I would love to tackle one more.
Now, we have to ask because you do have a quasi famous father that
I've heard, yeah.
yeah, right. Now, why didn't you follow his footsteps into acting? I mean, I'm happy for you. You're making something of your own here.
Yeah, it's funny. Everyone always asks me that. I tried a lot in, like, when I was growing up, and almost like I did the school plays, and I would try that, and it just was never my real interest. Like I do love it. And when I was in school, like, you know, you have to act in each other's projects, and I enjoyed it, but I loved being behind the camera. I actually thought I was going to be a DP for a while. But I just loved being able to kind of control the whole environment. And, you know, the way I see everything in my head, it helps to, I think, lead the other crew. I loved writing when I was younger, and that's what, you know, I followed in writing. And then I just always loved the idea of being behind the camera and seeing everything. And I think what was cool is understanding how actors work from watching my dad and just being on sets. That also helped me so much. Like, I know how to talk. Like, I'm never afraid to talk with actors because I know how to approach them and how not to approach them. In terms of, you know, you don't want to talk to them in a way that seems like you're undermining them. So that was, I think, a great learning experience for me. But I just love directing, and this proved that I love directing because it was such a shit show at times. But you know, you do your work, you figure it out, and you kind of have to you have to wear the hat of we're all struggling, but we're gonna get through this, and we did.
Well, it's exhilarating. But one more thing before I
Yes, of
let you
course.
go was how much convincing did you have to do for your dad to be in this film?
You know, it's funny because I got the job, and he went, "Well, I'm gonna do it." And I was like, "Are you sure? You sure you want to do that?" He goes, "Of course I'm going to do it." So there was no convincing. He volunteered himself.
Oh, he volunteered himself?
He
Wow.
volunteered himself. Yeah. So it was fun. We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun working together, and it was cool because, you know, I've never gotten to have that experience with. I've watched him work, and I've been around him, but to have that director actor relationship with him, it was a lot of fun. And it was so cool to watch him work and watch how his brain works in that environment.
And I'm just curious, how well does he take directions from you?
I mean, I gave no direction. I gave no direction. No, we had a couple of fun moments where I suggested this, and he was like, maybe not. I was like, yeah, you're right.
That is awesome. You know what, Remy, thank you very much for this
No,
conversation.
thank you.
I can't wait to see you do another film and we get into
Thank
another
you so much.
conversation like this. This is terrific.
100%. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate it. Next time.
Have a good one.